Well, I said that today would be D-Day, and it's about 7:30 this morning, and I'm going early because I don't want to get caught later when things begin to slow down. I mean, you could have an appointment and, you know, it could be like a half hour or more getting in there if they start getting backed up. So, you'll see where I'm going.
The defense attorney for William Styler mentioned in court that she has concerns about issues with his physical and mental health.
Follow the blue arrows. And where are the blue arrows taking us? We will find out. Yeah, we need to go down. There's a clue. Taking the lovely elevator ride. Oh, fun. So here's my locker. And here's my gown that I have to put on. And in case you want to know what D-Day is for me, it's the thing that I dread doing the most. But you have to do it. Here it is. Yep, it's mammogram day. I hate that when they have to squish your boobs all up in that x-ray machine. Oh, so that is never enjoyable. I don't like getting all squished up like that. It hurts, it pinches. But on my way out, the Lifeline helicopter flew in. So I feel sorry for that person that's on that. So anyway, I'm onward home. And as soon as I get home, I believe I will begin canning some cheese. Because I bought some cheese and I'm going to do that. And then I have to vacuum my whole house. And that means going all up the stairs. And Harry is home today. I don't know if he's going to want to do something. So, anyway. Oh, the knob in our shower broke. He's got to try to fix that today so we don't call a plumber. It's just always something with the plumbing at our house. It's ridiculous. So, I should be home in about, I don't know, 5 minutes. I got my oven on because I've got to heat up my jars first for my cheese melting, and then I'm also getting my water ready so I can wash dishes and wipe down the counter, and I've got to get the jars in the oven, and I've got to, after I wipe down my counters, I've got to get my cheese out, and I'm going to show you my cookie bars. That's what's left of them. And let me just show you what they're like. I mean, you just take chocolate chip cookie dough and you just put it in your pan, do it like that, little bars, a little bit of frosting, and they're nice and soft and yummy. So I'm going to put those on a plate and wrap them up so I can clean that Pyrex. I don't need to have that sitting on my counter. It's so big, and there's only a few bars left in there. So anyway, what else am I going to do? I'm going to just concentrate right now cleaning up my kitchen and getting this cheese in the canner, and once I do that, my water bath canner, then I need to vacuum. But I think I better wait till the boys get up, because I got to go all the way up the stairs and vacuum by their rooms and everything. And oh, it's going to warm up this week. It's going to be very sunny like this. It's going to be in the high 30s, in the low to mid 40s, and then by, I think, Saturday, it's supposed to be like 53 degrees. But that's this week. Don't know what next week is going to bring. But as long as it melts the snow, that'll be great. I was out at my garden dumping ashes again. And I looked at my garden from when, you know, all the snow had drifted during that one storm, not Titan, but the one before that, what was it, Pax? And when I had all that drifting in my backyard, and then we've had, you know, snow on top of that. I have like about a foot to a foot and a half of snow in my garden, so that's quite a bit. So anyway, well, I'm gonna go get all my cheese, and well, first I better take care of that. I'm going to share with you guys a couple recipes because we got a couple holidays this month. On Sunday the 16th, it's Purim, and even if you're not Jewish, you still might want to try to make Hamantoshkins. I love those, and they're cookies. They are so yummy. I will be making those. If I don't get to them by the end of the week or the weekend, I'll do it like early, the beginning of next week, and that will still give you time to, if you wanted to try making them, that, you know, you can go get, you know, the ingredients that you need. And really the only thing that you would need to get that you probably don't have on hand, like you need fresh lemon because you want to zest in some lemon, you know, peel, and you need raspberry, apricot, and poppy seed fillings. You know, like when you go to the grocery store and you go to where they sell all the pie fillings and that, well, in that same section, they sell the smaller cans of like raspberry, apricot, almond, poppy seed. Those are fillings that you use like with cookies or other kinds of pastries. And so those are the three like flavors that Hamantoshkin comes in. And we have a store bakery that actually makes them and sells them, but they're like $7. And I think you get 3 of each kind, and I'm like, you know, I'm not going to pay that much money to get 9 cookies, so I'll make them myself because I have made them in the past. But when I've been lazy, I do go buy them. So I will do that later. But today I will show you guys how to make Donegal pie, which I've shared this actually before. Donegal pie is, you know, we eat it all during the year. It's a recipe that comes from Irish immigrants from the Donegal, Ireland area. And you need mashed potatoes, you need bacon or ham, you need some eggs that have been boiled, so I have to boil those, and you need puff pastry dough. But if you don't like puff pastry dough, you can always use like Pillsbury, the crescent rolls. You know, you can buy that and use it. I wouldn't use pie dough because it's a little bit bland. I mean, you want the puff pastry or you want like that croissant dough, and I use either one of those. And so I'll show you how to make Donegal pie today because that's what we're having. I'm frying some cabbage today just to have with it on the side. Now, St. Patrick's Day, most people do the corned beef and they do cabbage. Some people boil cabbage, some people fry cabbage. I don't like boiled cabbage. I always fry mine. And it's not really frying. I want to say sauteing it. I just put butter in the pan and you put the cabbage in there, salt and pepper it. And especially once you salt it, you know, it starts releasing the water that's in the cabbage, and you know, it makes its own juice, in other words, so that you don't have to worry about it scorching and burning and all of that other kind of thing. But most people have corned beef and they have their cabbage and then they make soda bread. That's the traditional St. Patrick's Day thing. And Irish Americans, I mean not Irish Americans, but Irish people in past years have always made snooty comments to Americans, especially Irish Americans, which I'm Irish. I'm also a little bit English and got a little bit, just a little bit of German, and well, my German heritage really mostly is German Jew because I've got Jewish heritage, and part of my Jewish heritage also is from Spain, so I'm Sephardi and Ashkenaz. So anyway, what was I saying? I was saying, about Irish people have been a little snooty to Irish Americans, and I've even had them be a little snooty to me by saying, on St. Patrick's Day, Irish people don't eat corned beef, and then some of them have even said, we've never heard of corned beef. Well, here's the story on that. when the majority of the Irish were immigrating, probably couple million or whatever, in the mid to the late 1800s, they were coming here for two reasons. Number one, because of the potato famine. And number two, because the English were, battling them for a gazillion years, okay? And they were taking over their farms and everything. And that's when some of my Irish family came over, even at that time. And we don't have the whole story whether they came over because they were starving because of the potato famine, or they were part of those farmers that their farms were being taken by the English. And quite honestly, at this point in 2014, who cares, right? So anyway, we're here. And when the Irish were coming over here, their farms were taken, or, because of the famine, they were very poor people. I mean, like dirt poor. I mean, they were so poor they were po. P-O. I mean, they were too poor to even have the O-R at the end of poor. They were po. Okay? And they didn't, so not having a lot of money when they came here, it was a struggle for a lot of those Irish immigrants to live. Plus, the ones that came here, especially mid-1800s when the Civil War was going on, not only were they leaving a war with the English, and trying to get away from all of that, coming here, getting off of the ships, and having to register for the military for the Civil War. So, I mean, that was an ugly mess too. But anyway, being poor, not having a lot, they would have to buy cheap meat. And cheap meat then was corned beef. Now, corned beef now is expensive, but at the time, it was very, very cheap. And it was actually pretty cheap until, St. Patrick's Day here in in the 20th century, when it became a big thing and everybody wants to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and they would eat what the Irish Americans were eating, which was corned beef. And so now corned beef, it's through the roof like all other meat. But anyway, it was considered cheap meat because it has a lot of the fatty gristle and everything all in it. And the people that were a little bit more well off didn't want to eat that kind of meat. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it was cheap, and the Irish would buy it. And they would have corned beef instead of lamb, because lamb, we're not big lamb farmers in America like they are in Great Britain and Ireland, New Zealand, Australia. Lamb in those places might be a little bit cheap. Here it's extremely expensive because we're like, cow eaters. we like our steak and we like our hamburger, ground beef meat. You know what I'm saying? We like chicken and things like that. So we don't eat a whole lot of lamb here. And I would like to eat it because we like it, but it's just too expensive to buy it. Even get little teeny lamb chops, by the time you take the meat off of the bone, it's like 2 bites of meat. Even like little lamb chops, they're like super duper expensive. So anyway, that's why we don't eat a lot of lamb. And when the Irish Americans came here, obviously they couldn't afford lamb, and they really couldn't afford steak or anything else. What they could afford was corned beef, and they ate a lot of corned beef actually throughout the whole year. But, especially on, St. Patrick's Day, that was the big thing. They would make their cold cannon, not just cabbage. See, that's the thing that I don't like about St. Patrick's Day, is, you go get the corned beef and you get the cabbage on the side. Which, if they wanted to be really correct, the Irish way, they should be making cold cannon. And cold cannon is cabbage with potatoes in it. And then they do things like, they get like a ring, they get a penny, they get a thimble, a couple other things. There's like 7 different things. And of course you wash them to sterilize them. And then you put it in your cold cannon and then put it in the oven to bake it. And then when you're serving it, like whoever finds the penny, that person supposedly is supposed to, be prosperous that next year. Whoever finds the ring, if like they're single, they're supposed to get married. It's all superstitious stuff. That's why I never put any of that stuff in. But anyway, yeah, cold cannon is actually the more traditional thing to make. And maybe one day I'll make cold cannon. But today I'm going to make Donegal pie. And then, like I said, either the end of this week or beginning of next week, I'll do Hamantoshkins for you. Those are super good. Well, all my cheeses are done. So I have, some of these are cheddar Monterey Jack, and some are just cheddar. And then I have one cream cheese, and they all sealed. So I'm very excited. So, that looks good. Now, since Brian is up and my cheeses are done, I need to vacuum, and I need to do a little bit of dusting in my family room, which I have to dust, it seems like, just about every other day, because with the wood stove, it gets quite dusty in there. And I need to wash my pan there and get that away. And then I think I'm good for the rest of the day. Except I gotta go get some potatoes from my potato bin in the garage, and I have to peel those. Well, I'm out here in the garage because I've got to get potatoes. And before I start pulling my potatoes out, my doctor's office just called. My mammogram has already gone through and gone to the doctor, and yay, I got an A-OK. And you're probably maybe wondering, how is your mammogram in so fast? They bought this machine that's really accurate and detailed, and you can get quick results like the same day. They bought this machine a few years ago, and what's nice about it is because even when they're doing it, see, they put the last time that you were there, they put the screen image, and then they have to put the new one the side by side. So even I could look and I could tell that it looked okay, and even the radiologist, you know, she was pretty good about it when I left. And so they had the official radiologist read it and sent it over, and I'm good. So there we go. So now, potatoes. My 120 pounds of potatoes that I bought in the fall. Want to see how much I have left? That is all I have left. And you can see bare bottom. So I've got like a good layer and a second layer, and right in here I got like a little third layer of potatoes. So my 120 pounds of potatoes got me through for the whole winter. These will be gone since it starts getting warm outside. I'll be back to buying potatoes at the store until I plant my own potatoes and they start coming in, and then go back to the orchard in the fall. So anyhow, I got to get my potatoes. I'm going to get those peeled and let them sit in cold water, all cut up, until it's time for me to cook them. It's a little after 1:30. I've already fed the dogs. I want to go in the house and just chill out for a little while, make myself a cup of tea. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put this Donegal pie together. Now, when it comes to the mashed potatoes, I would just suggest this. And if I've got black under my eyes, I took a quick bath while my potatoes were cooking, and I washed my face to get my makeup off, but I haven't taken my eye stuff to get that off yet. But anyway, you don't want your mashed potatoes to be super creamy, where like they're really soft, because you want, when you're cutting this into, like, you know, serving squares or whatever, when you put your spatula under there, you want it, you know, to be able to grab all of it and be able to slide it off onto your plate without it, you know, falling off to the sides. At the same time, you don't want your mashed potatoes really stiff either, unless, you know, that's how you like to eat your potatoes. I make my potatoes kind of somewhere in the middle. See, they're not too creamy, but they're not super stiff either. I just want them soft and where, you know, it will hold together. So these have to go into a greased dish, whether you're going to use a Pyrex or a pie plate. It depends on how many people are in your family. If you're going to use bacon, obviously you need to cook your bacon and you need to crumble it up. If you're going to do like I did today, I had leftover spiral ham, so I've got some ham. I forgot to mention that you need cheese and you need your eggs. And then you need whatever you're going to put for your crust. I'm just using the croissants. Depending on what you like and how many people you're feeding is going to determine. Let me just put it this way. Do you know that when you're reading most recipes, or like even online when people do cooking videos, usually that amount serves 4 people. But you might have more people in your family than that. At the same time, the recipe might say, take a cup of cheddar cheese and sprinkle that on top. Maybe you guys like more cheese. You know, that's why I don't always stick to recipes. I just use, you know, recipes kind of as a guideline, and I judge by the size of my family and the things that's going into the dish that I'm making that my family likes. That's how I determine how much I'm going to use. Okay? You could use, for this size here, you could probably get away with, I don't know, maybe 7 eggs. But I have more than 7 eggs here, because I'll go ahead and overlap them, because we like boiled eggs. So anyway, this is just a guideline. I'm not going to put no specific amounts. This is just a guideline, and you know, you do it according to your own family. So this has been greased. I'm going to get this in here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is layer my ham, or if you're using bacon, your crumbled bacon. Then I'm going to get my egg slicer and put this on, and then the last thing that I'll top it with is this before I put the crust on, but I'll come back and show you all that. Okay, I had just a little bit of mashed potatoes left over, and that's okay if you bring it up on the sides a little bit. You don't want to have it all the way to the top, obviously, because we're going to be layering these other things. So just put our ham on, and you could even just do this. Make it easy and just spread it out. Okay, and at this point, if you want to sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on your eggs, you can. Your potatoes, you've prepared them as you would mashed potatoes, and most of us put the basic salt, pepper, some butter, and some milk. I mean, that's how I do it anyway. So you got the salt in the potatoes. You're getting the salt from bacon or ham is going to have that salt in it, and then you've got your eggs. So you might not want to salt it, it just is up to you. But obviously your eggs, that's the only thing that has not been salted. And so the next thing that we're going to put on is the cheese, and then top it with the crust. The other reason for not really needing to salt or pepper your eggs, because as this cheese melts, obviously it's going to be sticking to your eggs, and so when you bite into this, you know, to eat, you're going to get that cheese right there with the eggs, and you'll be able to notice that you didn't need to put any salt or pepper. So one can, as you can see, spreads out nicely all the way across. But you're going to have a little bit that's open. That's why you'll need a second can, and you'll just need like another wedge, like you'll put here, then another wedge down here, and then you'll have to have a third one that kind of fills in right over there. And then obviously you're going to have extra dough from your croissants, and you can just go ahead and roll them up, make croissants, and stick them in the oven with this. So as you can see, putting 3 of those in there, that fills it in nicely. So this is going to go into the oven, 350-degree oven. Usually the croissant dough doesn't take so long to bake. What is it on the can? Like, is it 12 minutes or 15 minutes? But I think it's at, where's the, I might have, when I ripped it open. Oh, it bakes at 375 for 10 to 12 minutes. But because you have your oven 25 degrees lower, you can leave it in there for about a good 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes. Just watch. You don't want it to get real blackened or anything. You want it to get nice and browned. And by that point, your cheese should be melted. I was going to take a picture or do a little video footage of my owl lit up. And it was funny because when I went and I checked my comments today on that video that I did yesterday, somebody was asking, can you show that owl lit up? So I'm going to show you the owl lit up. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.